Have you ever looked at another family and thought, wow, they just seem to have it figured out? The kids are calm, respectful, confident. The parents are patient, gentle, and consistent. And somehow everything just feels harmonious. What if I told you that this isn't about luck or easy children? At the core of good parenting are very specific behaviors, habits, and emotional patterns, many of which we'll uncover in this video. So let's begin with this. Good parenting does not mean being perfect, because no parent is. Good parenting means being present, being consistent, and most importantly, being emotionally safe. A parent who provides emotional safety gives their child a foundational belief. I can be myself here, even when I'm angry, sad, scared, or imperfect. Good parents are not defined by the moments when things go right, but by how they respond when things go wrong. When a child has a tantrum, when a teenager slams the bedroom door, when there's a conflict, a misunderstanding, or an emotional outburst. A good parent responds with calm, not chaos. One of the hallmarks of great parenting is the ability to regulate yourself before regulating your child. Children don't learn emotional regulation by being told to calm down. They learn it by seeing calmness modeled by you. When your child yells and you don't yell back, they learn that strong emotion does not have to equal conflict. When your child breaks a rule and you enforce boundaries without shaming them, they learn accountability, not humiliation. Another sign of strong parenting is understanding that children grow through relationship, not control. This means your role is to guide their mind, not dominate their will. Children who grow up with connection instead of intimidation, with respect instead of coercion, with communication instead of punishment, develop stronger self-esteem, higher emotional intelligence, and better decision-making skills. Good parents listen more than they lecture. Instead of saying, "Stop crying," they say, "I hear you. What's making you upset?" Instead of, "Because I said so," they ask, "Let's talk through why this rule exists." Instead of, "You're overreacting," they say, "Your feelings are valid. Let's handle them together." This doesn't mean permissive parenting or lack of discipline. In fact, good parenting uses discipline correctly. Discipline means teaching, not punishing. It helps the child learn, not fear. And sometimes, perhaps the greatest display of good parenting is the ability to apologize. A strong parent can say, "I was stressed and I spoke too harshly. I'm sorry." You might think this makes you look weak, but actually it shows incredible strength. It teaches your child that everyone, yes, even parents, can make mistakes and learn from them. Before we continue deeper into the core traits of truly outstanding parenting, I want to invite you to take part in this conversation. Comment below, what do you think a good parent should do more of? Listening? Patience? Encouragement? Boundaries? I genuinely want to hear your perspective. And if you're finding value in this discussion already, make sure to subscribe to the Parenting Blueprint for more science-backed parenting guidance on raising resilient, emotionally healthy kids. Let's go deeper into one of the most defining qualities of good parenting, the ability to truly see your child for who they are, not who you expect them to be. Many children spend their entire childhood trying to meet the image their parents hold in their minds. The image of the polite child, the successful child, the quiet child, or the obedient child. But good parents take the time to discover their child's true internal world. They notice their passions, their insecurities, their strengths, and even their quirks. They don't rush to change their child. They work to understand them first. For example, when a child struggles socially, a good parent doesn't immediately push them to just be more outgoing. Instead, they might say something like, "I notice social situations feel overwhelming for you. I'm here with you. We'll navigate it together." This approach tells the child, "I'm not broken, I'm supported," and that is powerful. Good parenting also creates a home where communication flows openly and naturally. Children in these homes don't feel the need to hide their mistakes or lie to protect themselves. They feel safe coming forward with truth, even if it's uncomfortable. A teenager who knows they will not be shamed for being honest is far more likely to talk about anxiety, friendships, school pressure, or even bigger challenges such as bullying or risky behavior. When children trust that the parent is on their side, cooperation replaces rebellion. Another core aspect of great parenting is fostering healthy autonomy. This means gradually allowing children to make decisions that are appropriate for their age. It starts small, such as picking their outfit or choosing a snack, but evolves into larger choices like selecting extracurricular activities, managing homework time, and eventually navigating friendships and personal identity. The mistake many parents make is trying to control too much for too long. But autonomy is like a muscle. It grows when exercised, and children who are allowed to make age-appropriate choices learn responsibility on a level that forced obedience can never provide. There's also an emotional dimension to good parenting that often goes unseen by outsiders but is deeply felt by the child: the parent's emotional availability. A child knows when a parent is distracted, rushed, or physically present but mentally elsewhere. But they also know when a parent leans in, listens with eyes and heart, and responds with patience. Emotional presence tells a child, "You matter more than whatever else is happening right now." That message, repeated over the years, becomes a core part of their inner voice. Good parenting understands timing, when to step in and guide, and when to step back and let the child learn through experience. Too much rescue can make a child helpless. Too little support can make a child feel abandoned. Great parents dance between these two extremes with sensitivity and intuition, learning when encouragement is enough and when intervention is necessary. As we continue, we'll explore how good parents handle conflict, disappointment, and emotional turbulence, and how those moments become opportunities for growth rather than damage. One of the most revealing moments in parenting comes during conflict. Every household experiences disagreements, raised voices, emotional tension, and misunderstandings. These moments do not automatically indicate failure. In fact, they are opportunities for emotional teaching. Good parents don't simply aim to end a conflict. They aim to resolve it in a way that preserves connection. They strive to separate the behavior from the child's identity. Instead of thinking, "My child is being difficult," they shift toward, "My child is having a difficult moment." That shift transforms the interaction from confrontation to compassion. Imagine a child who forgets to do their homework. A reactive parent might respond with frustration or accusations. A calmer, more grounded parent might begin with curiosity. "Help me understand what got in the way." This kind of response not only diffuses shame, but strengthens trust. The child learns that mistakes aren't catastrophic or unforgivable. They are solvable. Another key characteristic of good parenting is patience. Not the artificial patience of silent irritation, but genuine patience rooted in understanding that children are still learning life. Their brains are still developing. Their emotional regulation is still forming. Their impulse control is not the same as an adult's. Great parents remember that children are not mini grown-ups. They are still building the very neurological scaffolding required for emotional control and logical reasoning. Good parenting also nurtures a sense of belonging. The child feels not just loved, but valued. They feel wanted, not merely tolerated. This sense of belonging is built through simple everyday interactions: a shared joke, a moment of playful affection, a genuine compliment delivered without expectation, a parent being sincerely interested in their child's opinions. Over time, these interactions shape an inner belief in the child: "I have a place in this world, and I am worth being known and loved." Good parents also understand that parenting evolves as children grow. What works for a toddler will not work for a preteen. What guides a 7-year-old will not guide a 16-year-old. The language becomes less directive and more collaborative. Instructions become conversations. Control gives way to influence. And eventually, guidance transforms into mentorship. Another element that often goes unnoticed is how good parents manage their own emotional history. Many adults carry wounds from their own childhood, perhaps from emotionally distant parents, or strict authoritarian ones, or unpredictable ones, or simply overwhelmed ones. Good parents consciously choose to break cycles rather than repeat them. They don't parent for reflex, they parent from intention. They ask themselves, am I reacting out of fear or out of love? Am I trying to control or trying to support? Am I parenting my child? Or am I parenting my younger self who never received what they needed? This level of self-awareness leads to generational healing. It allows families to grow differently, breathe differently, and relate differently. The child benefits, but so does the parent. A truly remarkable aspect of good parenting is recognizing that connection is not built in grand gestures. It is built in micro moments. A quick, "I'm proud of you," whispered after a challenge, a gentle hand on the shoulder during disappointment, a genuine laugh shared over a silly mistake. These create emotional currency. Over time, children build a deep trust that they are safe in your presence and safe in your love. You become their emotional anchor, the person they instinctively turn to for comfort, clarity, and reassurance. In good parenting, boundaries are not barriers but forms of care. Children who grow up with predictable, consistent boundaries feel more secure. They know what to expect. They know the rules are not arbitrary and the consequences are not emotional explosions but logical outcomes. For instance, if a child stays up too late and is tired next morning, you don't shame them. You help them reflect. How did staying up affect your morning? This helps them connect actions with results, rather than obedience with fear. Good parents also make room for individuality. The quiet child, the loud child, the artistic child, the analytical child, the sensitive child, the strong-willed child, each one flourishes under a parent who sees their nature not as a problem to fix, but as a personality to respect. A strong-willed child does not need to be broken, they need to be guided. A sensitive child does not need to toughen up. They need help navigating their emotions. A shy child does not need to become extroverted. They need affirmation that introversion is not weakness. There's also something subtle but profound. Good parents notice effort, not just results. When a child tries something hard, whether it's solving a math problem, practicing a musical piece, or joining a new social environment, the parent celebrates the courage to try rather than just the achievement of success. This builds intrinsic motivation. The child begins to feel driven not by external praise, but by internal pride. Another trait of great parenting is allowing natural consequences to happen. Not punitive consequences, but real-life ones. If a child forgets their lunch, they might feel hunger, but they also learn responsibility. If they overspend their allowance, they learn budgeting. Good parents don't always rescue, they empower. Above all, in the homes of good parents, there's an atmosphere of emotional honesty. Children feel safe to express feelings, even difficult ones. When they cry, they are not told they are dramatic. When they're anxious, they are not told they are silly. When they're angry, they are not told they are rude. Their emotions are acknowledged, and with time, those emotions become manageable rather than overwhelming. As children grow, they don't just become more independent, they become more connected. The parent-child relationship matures into a respectful partnership, where guidance is invited rather than imposed. The child trusts the parent's wisdom because they've experienced it through love, not force. Perhaps the most beautiful sign of good parenting is that children feel free to grow into themselves, not into a projected version of who the parent desires them to be. When a child knows that they can express opinions, make mistakes, change interests, and evolve without losing their parents' love, they develop a deep internal sense of worth. This is how confidence is formed, not through praise alone, but through unconditional acceptance. Good parenting also means granting children space to live their own timeline. Some kids find their passion early, others explore until adulthood. Some children mature quickly, others need more time. A good parent isn't in a rush. They don't compare their child to neighbors or cousins or classmates. They trust the process. They trust their child's unfolding. They trust themselves. This kind of patience creates an environment where children willingly seek guidance instead of resisting it. When parents approach mistakes with curiosity instead of judgment, children learn to be honest. When parents approach struggles with empathy instead of frustration, children learn to be resilient. When parents approach dreams with encouragement rather than skepticism, children learn to believe in themselves. There will always be hard days. No parent gets through childhood without exhaustion, doubt, or moments where they feel like they're failing. But good parents don't have to feel perfect. They simply have to remain committed. They show up again and again. They keep loving again and again. They keep learning again and again. And what the child remembers long after the toughest moments have passed is that their parent never stopped caring. Over time, something extraordinary happens. The child begins to internalize the parent's voice. The comfort they once sought from the outside becomes a strength they carry inside. The encouragement once spoken to them becomes their own self-talk. The patience once shown to them becomes the patience they show to others. This is the generational legacy of good parenting, the emotional tools passed from one life to another. And one day, as adults, these children may look back and realize that they were not just raised, they were nurtured. They weren't merely taught rules, they were taught emotional wisdom. They weren't shaped through control, but through connection. If you're finding this message meaningful and it resonates with your experience as a parent or as someone healing from your own childhood, I invite you to subscribe to the Parenting Blueprint and join our community of parents committed to raising emotionally healthy and resilient children. And feel free to leave a comment sharing a moment in your parenting journey, whether a breakthrough, a challenge, or a realization. I truly read them all and respond whenever I can. And remember this final thought. Good parenting isn't something you arrive at. It's something you practice every day, in small ways, through presence, patience, and love.